Welcome to another episode. Excuse me. Welcome to another episode of Heresy from the Haven. Coming to you from the Gamers Haven in lovely Spokane, Washington. We are your hosts. I'm Bob.
Jay. Steven.
And today we're going to be talking about our experience at LVO.
Awesome.
The Las Vegas Open, held in Las Vegas. Massive tournament, thousands of people. Biggest event there for sure is 40K, but they do Star Wars Legions. They do, if the game is tabletop, they do it there. It's pretty amazing. The vendors are amazing, but we'll get all of that.
We're here to talk about the Heresy portion. Crazy.
So, real fast, where we have been and why we are in a basement. We took a break because we had some personal life things kick in, which happens to all of us. But also, we knew it, and we also got a lot of response that the sound when we were in the tavern here at the Gamers Haven was real echoey, real bad. So we paused it to build a studio. We're actually building a full studio here in the basement, but that's
which will be built over there.
It's over
that
there.
You can't see, but it's fine. It's that way.
I'm going to get on that the next month, and it's going to be soundproof, lights, cameras, all of it. But we wanted to reach out to you guys like the last episode and talk with you guys. So this is the workshop part, and the sound is a lot better in here. So it's not very fancy, but it's a cool workshop. So do for now. Do for now. Yeah. All right. This episode we're going to talk about LVO. So the three of us went.
Did.
I played. You two did not.
We did not. I should have. 100% should have.
You should.
I threw a little fit. It's fine.
Why'd you throw a fit?
They took away my rules. I play drop pods. I play Armored Spearhead, and both lists were banned. To be fair, for narrative reasons. They were banned for narrative reasons, right. Playing off of last year's. Ahead of time. Right. I didn't know that.
We didn't go last year, so we didn't know.
I put time and effort into building and painting, also I couldn't play it. Like, I could have pivoted. I didn't. I still had fun, though. Great event. I didn't play because I didn't know if I was going to be able to go because I have a 5-month-old now.
Right.
So,
yeah, it was kind of a last-minute decision.
Yeah.
Speaking of the event itself, Alex, who puts it on, outstanding guy, super, super cool. He runs it he's got an ongoing story from event to event. I believe, Alex, if you're watching this, I apologize. I believe he runs the Adepticon event as well for Horus Heresy.
I thought that's what he said.
And he was picking up basically game one left off where the last game of last year. Game one picked up where that game left off. And the planet's already been assaulted. There's already been heavy casualties. That's why there's not a lot of tanks, i.e. no tank company.
No
drop
reinforcements
pods,
for drop pods
because everybody's on the ground already. That's kind of the mentality behind it.
And I believe he mentioned that they actually finished the narrative this time, didn't they?
Yeah, they cheated. Imperials won, I guess, which is much bullshit.
I don't think they cheated. I think you just are a sore loser. Because the Emperor protects, remember. But
it matters not from where the blood flows. So the World Eaters, they did what they needed to do, right? But yeah, narrative event. Really, really cool. Been to the way he does things there. All points scored in games go towards their campaign points. So even a win, loss, draw in a game was 3 campaign points, 2 campaign points, 1 campaign point. So really the difference between a win and a loss was almost nothing in the overall campaign. And then all the secondary objectives, all the missions, which we'll talk about in a minute. I got a guy out here. Everybody was given a black shield that they ran with their army. And if he did certain things during the games, you got more campaign points. Even pairings, pairings were all about, he lined up all the loyalists on one side and all the heretics on the other side, and he'd walk by and just go, you two, you two, you two. And once we all started I started getting a feel for it. There was guys, I'm like, hey, you and I should play next turn. Yeah. And then we're jumping in line, so we'd line up with each other as he's going through the picking. But
we were having a lot of fun with that too.
Oh yeah, it was a blast, because I met so many great people, and I'm like, well, that's how my game 2 ended up becoming, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, very cool. If you've never been, there's surprisingly a lot of people that look exactly like him that all play these games.
Chubby, bald guys with beards and little hair? What are you talking about? I don't know, with black glasses.
You played 3 of them in your 4 matches. So
it's true. Yeah, it's true. We may have
or maybe you just have a type.
Special rules for the event that were really cool. Tying back into the narrative thing, he wouldn't allow any special characters, which is pretty common for a lot of these narrative events. But what he did allow us to do, which was pretty neat, and I'll get into my actual army build in a bit here, but he allowed us to take and if you're a newer player and you're used to us not talking about rules, I'm going to get into some rules here. You have your 2 HQ choices. You have a Praetor, you have a Centurion. The Centurion can be upgraded to a Librarian or a Chaplain or all these different things, but he's a lower level HQ. You could actually do that with your Praetor. You can make your Praetor one of these characters, which the idea was to kind of build your own special character, like build your own, guy that's running your army and your story behind it, which I went out into. I thought it was a lot of fun.
You had a lot of fun with the name, too.
Yeah, I can't remember it right now. Why would you just bring that up? I didn't feel like a dick. I jerk.
Because I had it.
So
that'll be another episode where we talk about just the naming process.
Yeah, it was a lot.
No, it won't be. I'm just kidding.
It was a lot. So you guys want to talk about like your impressions of the event as spectators?
Well, first of all, I mean the hobbying there was insane.
It's insane.
The painting, the conversions, the display boards.
Yeah.
When people put that much time and effort into it, just like, wow.
It's massive. I was not expecting it to. You go to these grand ballrooms and everything, and you're like, holy crap, this is a big ballroom. And you're like, yeah, but there's 5 of them that are all full. And I was not ready for the scale at which this was put on, which it was really cool. I mean, there was a vendor area set up that was as big as one of the gaming areas, with just all the different people from, and I was surprised to see, but like worldwide vendors, people from people from England, Germany, and like stuff traveling here to be a part of this community, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So and it ties into the players. We have players from all over the world that show up, and obviously 40K being the largest one. I don't remember what the final number was, but I think it was a couple thousand 40K players in that range. I don't think that number up, and I think there was only over 100 Horus Heresy players. So still Horus Heresy, kind of.
It's still new.
Yeah, well, no, it's second edition's new. Obviously, it's been around for a lot of years,
The
but
popularity is still new.
it's a lot more accessible now. With so much stuff available in plastic, I think you're going to see more and more growing, and with a lot of people who thought 40K was like their only way to go and experience an event like this, and 40K can be very competitive. It can be very not necessarily beginner friendly. I think there's a lot of people like me who played the competitive 40K for years, and went from doing pretty well at it to not doing so great at it, not really caring, to showing up and not even remembering my rules, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And this is silly. And then now I can go and play in Horus Heresy, where everyone else you're playing is like me. Like nobody really cared about winning and losing. It was just about the narrative we are forging on the tabletop and how much fun it was. And what a blast.
Yeah, everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Right.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. The points still matter. Let's be clear.
The points still matter.
No, it was great.
It was great. What were your impressions?
Yeah, for me, it really was the hobbying aspect of it, because I kind of came from the 40K background where it's all about list building and tactics. And wait till you guys see pictures of the mega battle. We got a lot of mega battle shots.
That's a great point. Yeah, so the event itself, the air quotes tournament, was 2 days. It was Friday and Saturday, but you could also have purchased a separate ticket, and I opted out because Sunday's usually my day to go hang out with friends and family. And but the last day, everybody could play in a mega battle, and you could pretty much bring whatever you want. And they've got Titans that were there. These guys traveling from across the country with Warlord Titans. Yeah, it's like, wow, that's amazing. It was impressive.
I wish I could have seen it.
Yeah,
Vegas does happen sometimes. It does.
We'll just leave it at Vegas.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But Steven didn't see the mega battle.
No,
Steven did not see the mega battle, but I heard it was great.
I don't think you heard anything.
I did.
Yeah.
I heard about it from you guys.
But the next day, he's sleepy.
That was very sleepy.
So, Bob, you played 2-day events. You want to start with kind of your army and explain to us how you got into this?
Yeah, for sure. So I've talked in the past, I've made little jokes in the past about how terrible our special Terminator squad is, the Red Butchers. And the reason I find them so terrible is because Cataphractii Terminators, by nature, are very slow. So it's hard to get them where you want them. But usually when they get there, they pack a hard punch because they have all these power fists that they are unwieldy, so they strike last, but they're strength 8, AP2, they're massive. Well, my guys come with power axes, which are strength 5, AP2. So they're also unwieldy, so I'm striking last, but your Terminators are instant killing me because it's double my toughness. Terminators have 2 wounds, and I'm only wounding you. Regular Terminators can hang with Dreadnoughts, which are way faster than Cataphractii. Mine can barely hurt them, and they're just playing whack-a-mole and killing them. So that was the big. I just don't like my Red Butchers. They're fun to play, and they do have some great rules attached to them. But with Alex's rules being able to add a Praetor with a console, I added a Warmonger. And the Warmonger rules, you won't find them in the regular Horus Heresy book. They were in the Units of Legacy.
It's called Expanded.
Yeah, it's a PDF that's free on their website, and it's another console upgrade that is the idea behind a Warmonger is he's this guy that is trying to prove himself. He wants to be the first in battle. So he's taking risks. So he's using teleport technology, which during the time of the Horus Heresy, unlike 40K, it's not common, right? So he's teleporting any unit he attaches to into combat. Or teleporting them onto the table, deep striking onto the table, and then they can charge after they come in. And so I made my character, which I can't remember his name right now, but I made him. I actually modeled him. The Red Butchers are their backstory is that they're insane. They're the world leaders that have gone over the edge at this point, and they're uncontrollable. They'll attack anybody. So the world leaders will take them and basically imprison them in this armor and hang them from the holds of the ship from chains. And then when it's time to go into battle, they drop the doors, everybody gets the heck out of the way, they hit a button, they hit the ground, and they run into battle. So this guy, in my mind, I built him with like a servo arm and a bunch of different equipment on him. Like I named him the Keeper of the Butchers, where he is the one who's putting all these guys in the armor, sends them into battle, they all die. He goes and cracks the armor open with his big hammer, pulls the bodies out, tosses them aside, takes the armor, teleports back into the ship, and then they take the next round of guys going crazy and puts them in. So that's his whole thing as the Keeper of the Butchers. It allowed me to put that Red Butcher squad where I needed it. Keep it away from all the instant death weapons, keep it away from it, and get into the soft underbelly of my opponent's army and start ripping through it. And it worked. It worked really well.
Yeah, because again, world leaders are all close combat, assault oriented.
Right.
Your goal is to punch something in the face.
Right. They became their namesake.
Yeah, they became the Red Butchers for sure.
Yeah.
The and my army and my whole army list is I don't have very many long range weapons. I just have what's on the Spartan that I have 16 despoilers in. The despoilers are all close combat based. I have a squad of rampagers in a land raider with las cannons. And then a 10-man squad of tactical. I call them my lawn chair unit. They like to sit back in the backfield, sit on an objective if necessary. They have bolters. And that's pretty much all the guns in my whole army. There's not many guns. Everything else is close combat based. I have another jump pack squad of rampagers.
Yeah.
And then I have the Contemptor Dreadnought that's kitted in close combat. My second HQ choice was he was also a console upgrade. He was the Centurion upgraded to be a Herald. And I gave him a jump pack, and being that my army is based on the Battle of Nuceria, which is where Angron had his final crack, this is where he was enslaved. I have his banner pole. I didn't want like a flag on him jumping around, or like if he's jumping in the air, he's got a flag.
Yeah, it's
like Edna said, no capes, right?
Yeah.
Right? So instead, he's got a torso strapped to a bar. And it's in my backstory. It was one of the slave holders, one of the owners, the overlords that were holding Angron. They chopped him up and hung him up there. So that's their inspiring. So they would deep strike with the rampagers while the two land raiders moved across the table. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun to play.
Court approved. I swear, every game you would be down to like everything's almost dead. Reinforcements arrive,
right,
and just everything's dying.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
I really love the narrative aspect. Just being able to make up the backstories of those characters and everything is fantastic.
And then you play it that way, right? You play it
for sure
to kind of follow your backstory and how you're doing it. I do have to say though, all four of my opponents, I cheated you. I don't think it would have mattered all that much in any of my games looking back at it.
Yeah.
But there's a little rule that the Warmonger has because teleport technology is so risky that after I deep strike them in, I'm supposed to roll a dice on every one of them. On a roll of 1, they take a wound. I'd get my 4+ invulnerable save from the Cataphracti. There's 7 Terminators. I did a lot of things in the numbers of 8 as well for representing that their eventual god, Khorne's majestic number is 8. And so there were 7 Terminators in him. So every time they deep struck in, I was supposed to roll 8 dice, any ones. Somebody takes a wound. Now they do have 2 wounds each. And I'm making excuses as to I just forgot. And you reminded me before the third game. He's like, "How's your deep striking been with the tests he's got to take?" And I'm like, because I had not played this army once before. Like I was painting the night before, And I'm like, oh, I
Now,
haven't done that.
to be fair, you were never more than 30 feet away from a bar.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And we had to get you drinks constantly.
Yeah,
So,
you guys were definitely my drink fetchers. That's
I
not
can't
what I was
blame you.
calling you, but yes.
No,
you were-
that
I
was-
should repeat that.
right.
That's
We
the
did a happily,
YouTube
though.
version of.
We did a happily.
what we did. Yeah.
Support our
But
friends.
yeah, but by the end of each game, over half the squad was always alive, except for the one squad against Game against the Raven Guard, where he has all these abilities to snipe characters out, and he just wiped that unit out before they did anything, and then he deep struck and he just shot them. And
So speaking of that, kind of take us through what you played against.
yeah, okay. My first pairing was a gentleman, and I again terrible memory. Can't remember anybody's names. Should have taken notes.
Looked like him.
Looked like me. Game shop owner from Texas. Great guy. Had an absolute blast playing with him. He was playing Dark Angels. And I think we actually, which was also really cool in this event, I've played in the competitive 40K events where if you try to kind of BS a little too much, like they're like, let's go.
Right.
I don't think we even started rolling dice
No.
until we were like an hour into the,
Yeah.
into the turn. Like, oh yeah, we should probably play this game. He was playing Dark Angels, and I don't remember that game real well. I think I ended up winning that game. But his army, he had a hard army. He was a tough army.
Really fast. He was playing on Ravenwing bikes.
Oh, that's right. It was all the bikes. Yep, bikes and land speeders. Yep, that's
There were
right.
a lot of foot stuff. It was kind of hard to catch him at times. Once you finally pinned him, I think it went pretty
Yeah,
well.
and it was that scenario ended up being advantageous to me because it was the short board edge, so he
Oh,
couldn't
gotcha.
really get away from me all that much because it was only 48 inches apart. I think if he was playing across the long table, he would have had more flexibility to get away. But yeah, I hit him with axes. And
I didn't
Dark
see a
Angels
lot
started.
of deep striking units as I was walking around the armies and everything. So I don't know if maybe your opponents just were
So
playing and not really thinking about that.
It's interesting,
aspect of
even
it.
though Horus Heresy is a lot less competitive than other games, there is still a meta. And I think that a lot of times what happened is people started going heavy into deep striking, which has a hard counter with Augury Scanners. Nobody I played had
Especially
Augury
this
Scanners.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody had. Oh no, the Raven Guard player had Augury Scanners. But Augury Scanner is a piece of war gear a unit can have that after you deep strike, they get to shoot at it.
For free.
Right.
For free.
I know any army can do it once with one unit, but if you have 3 Augury Scanners, you can fire at them once for free and 3 more times with 3 other units as well. So I think people probably backed off a deep strike because of that. I'd never deep strike before game 1. I'd never even used it before. It's not really in our meta that much around here.
Hence you forgetting the rule about the Warmonger.
Yeah.
Another aspect.
Yeah, I only mishapped on 1 deep strike. Yeah, it was fun. So that game was great. Round 2, so when you get there and you start to meet everybody, and I always call it like sniffing butts, like we're all kind of meeting and checking each other out, checking out each other's armies. And there was a handful of all the World Leader players kind of started congealing together. And
This was great. Yeah.
And then I find out there's a guy there that's actually from Washington State here, over in Bellingham, and he has a loyalist World Leaders army. It's great. And I'm like, oh, I want to play you. And he's like, I want to play you. So round 2, that was when we were doing the jimmying to make sure we lined up against each other, play each other. And so it was Isfan 3 all over the place. It was he had them all painted like Warhounds though, which is their pre-Angron colors. It's a real big divergence from this. Instead of white with blue trim, they're blue with white trim.
Yeah, it was obvious.
Right.
You could easily tell who was who.
Yeah.
Right. He was running a bit of an infantry horde, and boy, he was putting the boots to me until my reserves came in.
Yeah.
And my reserves came in the same thing. Both units deep strike in, they hit, and I put them surgically right where I needed them, and they were able to take out the units I needed that I was most afraid of, and then I just got merchants from his army. But like you had said, every game I played, by the end of the game, I had a handful of models left.
I swear, you're almost tabled half the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the way this army's supposed to play. Like win or lose, I'm only supposed to. If you have a few models left, and I have a few models left, perfect. I don't care who won or lost. Yep.
And round 3, you guys just made up rules.
So yep, that was the end of day 1. Round 3. So there was another guy there that was super cool. He was running what is arguably probably one of the toughest armies to play in Horus Heresy. He was running an all bike list. He had the couple.
It was beautiful.
It was really cool. He had them all modeled
Heavily
from
converted.
the brutes from Halo, with the 2 wheels in the front and the grinder in between. So now here it was obviously a World Leader army. So there's this whole army of bikes, other than his couple of compulsory troop choices, and bikes are terrible in Horus Heresy. So he showed up going, I know I'm going to lose every game, but I'm like, yeah, but
you
look at
cool.
your army, man. This army is so cool. So we kind of bonded all day 1. Well, day 2, we line up, and I meet my opponent, a great guy from down in Florida, if I remember right, and he was playing as Raven Guard, and I look over, and here, lo and behold, is the White Scar, or is the World Leaders player with all his bikes right next to me, and he's playing against a Dark Angel player, and we're like, hey, and he right away goes, we should play a 2-on-2, and our opponents were like, what? And I'm like, sure. And the judge happened to be right near us, Alex was, and he's like, hey, do you mind if we just kind of push the tables together and play side by side? And he's like, I don't care what you guys do. And so we ended up playing, I think that day 2 was 2,000 points, so it was 4,000 points against 4,000 points. And boy, that was carnage too. He told me before that game that he basically comes in from outflank and just gets everything wiped out.
Yeah.
But the two of us working together, he was able to run disruption for me, outflank where I needed him to while I was moving forward, was able to get to my opponent pretty much untouched. And we were intermingled with each other. And same thing. I think we squeaked that one out very close, but both sides were almost decimated.
That's the first time I've seen Raven Guard in action.
Woo! Woo!
They got some rules. They got some.
We don't have any local Raven Guard
do not,
players.
yeah.
Right?
I was pretty impressed with the Raven Guard.
So are you going to be a Raven Guard player?
Mistman 5. It's coming.
Oh, yeah. Everything for Mistman 5. Yep.
Shadow Legion's coming in the new book, actually.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. So that was, I deep struck in with my Warmonger, my Keeper of the Butchers, and the Red Butchers, and he shot the Warmonger out immediately, and I think the leader of the squad, because he has all these special, I don't know anything about Raven Guard. Like, he can target, characters and had special rules against shooting out characters. And
they're very sneaky. They're almost as sneaky as Alpha Legion.
They're the
See here right now.
sneakiest. They're the sneakiest. They are.
I got 100,000 Alpha Legion points in this room right now.
Right.
You just can't see
right.
them.
Yeah,
They're right
where are they? I was reading Conrad Kerr's Primarch novel, and he says that we, the Night Lords, can blend into the shadow perfectly, but the Raven Guard are the shadow. Right? Like they're even deeper into being sneaky. So, but maybe they were Alpha Legion hidden as Raven Guard in the shadow.
You never know.
Right. Exactly.
Can't disprove it.
And then my final game, at this point, I think we're all pretty tired, and I just took whoever happened to be across from me, and it was an Imperial Fist player.
But beautiful, though.
Beautiful army. Yeah. Holy cow.
That yellow was good.
And to his credit, boy, Imperial Fist is one of those lists that you can really tool up and do some dirty things with. And he didn't. His army was really balanced, really basic, and we ended up, again, kind of BSing most of the game. And
Very narrative.
Yeah, super fun game. All in all, I met a guy down there by the name of Drew. We were talking a little trash before the event on the Book of Faces together, because he had this Revenant's army painted up, which is pre-Sanguinius Blood Angels, but he had built this character named Amit, and Cargos, the 8th Company apothecary for the World Leaders, were battle brothers in the Conqueror's fighting pits, and there's a famous scene that we won't spoil in the final books where these two meet each other, and there's a very famous quote that's a bunch of BS. But so I saw Amit. I'm like, oh, I got Cargos. We need to go at each other. Man, that guy's army was beautiful. Yeah. Holy cow, just beautiful. And I was fortunate. Him and I actually tied for appearance overall in the event for players, because you go through and you vote, which was really, really cool. And but Alex and I had talked beforehand, and I said, well, I voted for him for my favorite army, so give it to him, because then I also won favorite trader. So I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what that was, because I couldn't hear when Alex was announcing stuff, so I'm not sure if it was sportsmanship or
Let's go with sportsmanship. You guys were having a good time.
I'm an asshole. I'm not sure how I would have gotten sportsmanship, but
a lot of people like assholes. Look at us.
That's great. It's all you. So anyway,
yeah. I mean, just watching it, you could tell everybody was having a great time.
Having a blast.
It was great. No pressure. It was none of that stuff.
Even as a spectator.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an enjoyable experience. You got to see how different people play, how the different metas, and watching people come from different parts of the world and different parts of the U.S. You fall into the meta of your local game stores, and kind of just seeing how people build their armies and stuff was also a very interesting facet of the experience.
Just the breadth of this game. You can take it wherever you want to take it. whatever you get enjoyment out of, you can find it in Heresy. It's amazing.
And one of my favorite things about going to events like this kind of ties on to both what both you guys are saying is you show up to a table. I've never seen this person before. I don't know who they are. And you create this social contract and this bond. You play a game together. And then the rest of the weekend, you're like, hey, how was your last game?
Yeah,
and you just
check in with them.
right. Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't have a bad game. Like actually picking my favorite loyalist was really difficult because I had 4 great games. Well, I guess in theory, I had 5 opponents because we did play a 2-person game. But yeah, all 5. I mean, it was a great time.
I think that's it for this one, right?
Yeah, I would say that something to kind of put in your pocket on this one is don't be afraid to go to events like this. For sure, it can be nerve-wracking walking in the door and kind of intimidating. But then as soon as you start playing, I think that's what you said. You were like, why didn't I bring an army? I want to be playing right now. Like it's once you get there and you start playing. I've run up so many events. I've had people show up to events before. Well, it's kind of you in the next one actually for 40K, but Jay hasn't played 40K in
10 years.
Right. Yeah. And have you read the rulebook yet? I've had people show up to tournaments of mine that I'm running going, I haven't even played before.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Also Jay.
Right. And it's like great. Like go up to your opponent and just tell them that. Say, hey, look, you're going to get this win. Do you mind if I know the rules a little bit, but I haven't played before, and people will learn through the tournament how to play. And your opponents, I mean, there's always that one apple in the basket.
Yeah.
But most of the time your opponents are going to be just like, yeah, absolutely, let's do this. Let's have fun because we're playing with toy soldiers.
So, to end this episode, you mentioned events.
Oh, yeah.
We have a pretty big event coming up.
We do. So I've been running for the last 20 years, or not 20 years, 15 years, an event called the Storm of Silence. It's a 2-day major for Warhammer 40,000. And this year is our second year as being a qualifier for the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open championship is in Atlanta in November. And the only way to go to that event is by winning a ticket at a qualifying event. So the Storm of Silence qualifying event. I also run the Conqueror's Crown, which is a Horus Heresy narrative event. And then we're going to be running, this one is the first one of this year. We've done them in the past, but a 2-day Age of Sigmar event. And this one is called The Last Hunt. And I decided, you know what? I've been running these events for so long with so many people in them. Let's just combine them. So this year, on May 18th and 19th here in Spokane, Washington, and there are still, 40K is almost sold out. And I think Heresy and Age of Sigmar are over half sold out now. All 3 events at the same place. So it's going to be at Spokane Community College here in Spokane. And it is over 200 players playing in all 3 of these events simultaneously. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be awesome.
As we get closer, we'll have more videos on it, actually, yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably put content out just on trophy making and trains, all sorts of things we're doing.
We'll do some shorts on that stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like shorts.
I like shorts too. If it wasn't 20 degrees outside, I'd be wearing shorts right now.
Yeah. It's so lovely in this lovely Spokane, Washington. All right, why don't you guys take us out?
So guys and gals, everyone out there, if you like what we're doing, even a little bit, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. We're doing this for fun, honestly.
You can follow us too.
Yeah.
Like, follow,
You
subscribe.
can follow us around town, whatever you want to do. We don't care.
Yeah. Show up to the tournament, follow us around that.
But really, we love the engagement, so thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, and we will be putting out, even in this format now we've swallowed the pill, it doesn't have to go from the cool tavern to the cool studio.
Right.
We'll probably be doing stuff here while the studio's being built.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Welcome!